this lesson, we'll look at using layers in Rhino 5. We use layers to help ourselves stay organized and to simplify our workload as our models get more and more complex. To access the menu window in Rhino 5, we simply click on this red, white, and blue pie shape, and the menu window appears. By default, the first time you open up the Layers window in Rhino, it's going to appear floating. We want to go ahead and dock this window to the side of our workspace just to help clean things up a little bit. And in order to do that, we simply click on the upper toolbar and we simply drag it over to the right. When we see the translucent purple rectangle, we can just go ahead and let go of the left mouse button, and that will dock the menu window to the side of the workspace. This is kind of nice because it still allows us full view of our 4 windows, and our Layers window is available to us the whole time we're working. At the moment, we only have the default 6 layers in here, but as your models get more and more complex, this layer window will fill up, so it's fine that it's taking up this much of our real estate. As you can see, there's a check mark by the word default. This is our default layer, and the check mark means that this layer is actually the current layer. If I go ahead and draw a line, I'll click on the polyline tool here, and just start drawing in the top viewport. Now I've drawn a polyline, and you can see it's drawn in black. If I look at the default layer in the menu window, you can see this swatch is black. That tells me anything drawn on this layer will be shown on screen in black. If I go ahead and click here, you can see the check mark moves to layer 1. That means that layer 1 is the current layer. Anything I draw from now on will be drawn in red. And the same if I move the check mark to layer 2, that means layer 2 is now current, and anything I draw will be now shown in that layer color. It's very simple to add layers in Rhino. Just click on the layer that you would like the new layer to appear below, and just click this new layer button. You can see a new layer appears and the text is highlighted. This allows us to create a custom name for the layer. I'm just going to call this new layer and hit enter. And I can also change the color of this layer. If I click on this swatch, a new window opens up, and there are all sorts of default colors that I can choose from for the layer. Or I can drag this hash mark around this circle to select the hue of a new layer. And I can drag this circle around inside the box, and I can change the saturation of the color or the value of the color until I have a custom layer color. Now I can click OK. And if I make this the active layer, and click the polyline tool and draw again, you can see my new line is drawn on the new layer, and it's drawn in this light green color. It's very easy to change the layer that an object is on in Rhino. You simply select the object whose layer you'd like to change, in this case, the red line. And I come over to, let's say, layer 3. I'll just right-click on it, and I'll select Change Object Layer. Deselect it, and you can see it's now blue, which is the color of layer 3, telling me visually that it is now on layer 3. Now that I don't have any data on layer 1, I can delete that layer quite easily if I don't want it anymore. I just simply highlight it, and I'll click the red X, and that layer is now deleted. I can also copy items to layers. Let me go ahead and again select that line that's now on layer 3. And if I want to make a copy of this, and I'll put that on layer 5, I can simply right-click and then choose Copy Objects to Layer. When I deselect it, it doesn't look any different. But if I come up here to these light bulbs, these affect the visibility of a layer. By clicking on this, that layer is now off, and you can see that we will see the line work that is actually on layer 5. We were seeing it in blue because layer 3 is higher in the layer order than layer 5, therefore it appears over layer 5. But if I go ahead again and click the light bulb off on layer 3, we see the information on layer 5. I can also click off any of these to switch the layers on or off. This is nice when you're working and your area is getting really cluttered. It helps to clean up visually your workspaces and make selecting and drawing new items much easier. You can also lock layers. By simply using this padlock icon, I just click on it. You can see it changes to a closed padlock. And that means I can't select anything on a padlocked layer. That layer is locked and there's nothing you can do with it. Let's say I want to move new layer up to the top. All I need to do is select it, and using this up icon, I just click on it and it moves it up through the order. I can also move it back down if I don't like where it is, but let me just move that up to the top. Let me go ahead and switch on layer 3. And now you can see the blue line is appearing again. But watch what happens when I click on the blue line. Now the Rhino selection menu appears, and this appears whenever you have overlapping objects and Rhino isn't sure which of these objects you'd like to choose. So it's asking me to make the selection for myself. And you can see in the selection menu I have the blue curve and the white curve, which are sitting right over each other. And I can select either the blue curve or the white curve by clicking. If I don't want any of these, I can just choose none and nothing is selected. And remember, I can still use my dragging selection command to select both of these items if I want. Or if I want to select both items, I can choose one, then hold down the Shift key and click here again, and now they're both selected, and I can move them both. And this concludes our lesson on layers in Rhino.